Dwayne Johnson has paved his way from being The Rock Johnson to just Dwayne Johnson. He has effectively built his career from the ground up after his film debut as the horrific half-man, half-scorpion mutant in The Mummy Returns. Starting as the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, he is now one of the most highly sought-after actors in Hollywood. And while he may not be the Arnold Schwarzenegger of this generation, he still has a wide variety of movies that have solidified him today as one of Hollywood's most bankable and likable movie stars. Hey Flickers, welcome to our channel. Before we get into our video, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any updates. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications when we upload more exciting videos. Let's get right into it now, shall we? Number 10. BECK in The Rundown, aka Welcome to the Jungle. Possibly the most underrated character in Johnson's entire career from what is probably also his career's most underrated film. Under the thumb of a vaguely gangsterish sort, BECK is all muscle. There's not a whole lot that describes BECK explicitly as his name highlights. All you know about him is that he's a bounty hunter who is heavily involved with the wrong people and a total badass. BECK even crosses paths with a cameo from Arnold Schwarzenegger, who says have fun before reluctantly bringing down a pro football team. He doesn't want to ruin their next season by injuring them too badly. Although critics and viewers loved the movie, it never made its own budget back at the box office. We still hope someday we'll be able to see a sequel. Number 9. Luke Hobbs in the Fast and Furious franchise. How do you steal the limelight of several actors from the entire franchise of action movies, even when there are 4 movies already made? It's quite easy. All you have to do is be Dwayne Johnson. Don't just look like Dwayne, but be the real thing. Luke Hobbs is an agent of the Diplomatic Security Service, which essentially translates as the Rock with a badass official license. When he's traveling the globe to pursue different supercriminals, he takes charge, takes no disrespect from anyone, and never forgets his baby oil. At the end of the 8th installment, Hobbs quits the DSS, so he has nowhere to go but even further into the badass territory. Number 8. Gunnery Sergeant Asher Sarge MAHONIN in Doom. Sarge is Dwayne Johnson in full-on candy-ass-kicking mode, the leader of a highly armed group of Marines known as the Rapid Response Tactical Squad. His squad is big men with even bigger guns, and Sarge is honored to wield the greatest of the film, the famous BFG of the video game series. By having the BFG officially called the Bioforce Gun, if we tell you that the first word was originally big, then you can probably guess what the F stood for. The film cops out a little bit, but it's still a lot of fun to watch in action, in the hands of The Rock himself especially. Number 7. Dr. Xander Smolder Bravestone in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. We all thought, how could a 6-foot-plus muscle man play silly roles? But Dwayne proved to everyone that he could not only act silly, but rock it. Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is not supposed to really work, but it does. While great when it came out, the original Jumanji does not really hold up today. It's a board game that goes haywire, so to speak, and bad things happen. In this updated version, the board game becomes a video game, and Johnson plays a stud-like avatar in the game who gets embodied by an awkward teenager. In this movie, Dwayne Johnson is very foolish, but he's a badass too. That being said, it's his ability to make us believe that in the outside world, he's just a nerd that really sells it. In the sequel, Jumanji The Next Level, his performance as Danny DeVito could be a better performance, but Welcome to the Jungle holds up as the better Jumanji movie. Number 6. David OKOYE in Rampage. Rampage is exceptionally well written, cracks you up, and is one of the favorite major monster movies of all time. No one had any idea how they could adapt the story of 3 big monsters literally going from level to level punching down houses, but this film pulls it off, and its core is Dwayne Johnson. Who knows how he does it, but not only can Dwayne Johnson make a video game movie watchable, but actually fun. The best part of the movie is the bond between the gorilla and Dwayne. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. What are you waiting for? Number 5. Christopher Danson in The Other Guys. Christopher Danson, one of the original guys referenced in the title of The Other Guys, is the perfect badass cop. That is, until inexplicably him and his partner, Detective P.K. Highsmith, played by Samuel L. Jackson, plan to leap off a roof to catch up with some bad guys and plunge to their deaths. There is also something decidedly awesome about being so sure about your own heroism, even in the apparent comedy of both of their deaths, that you leap off a building with no real hope of survival. Aim for the bushes were their immortal last words. Number 4. Paul Doyle in Pain and Gain. Dwayne Johnson's funniest movie would be Pain and Gain without a second thought. This means something given that it's a Michael Bay movie. In it, Dwayne Johnson plays an ex-convict who has met Jesus and doesn't want to hurt anyone by using his enormous muscles. But things go wrong fast when Mark Wahlberg and Anthony Mackie's character hatch a plan to abduct a rich guy and steal his loot. The Rock's descent back into his old criminal ways is the second half of the film, but it's funny throughout. Who knew it could be so amusing to observe restraint? What works so well here for The Rock is that in this role, he's so serious. Obviously, you feel that the dude doesn't want to go astray, but it's difficult to keep straight, especially when you have drugs and strippers at your disposal so easily. It might have been a one-note joke for a dramatic turn, but Dwayne Johnson knows when to downplay his charm enough to come off as compassionate and even a little sad. It's some of the finest acting work by Dwayne Johnson to date. Number 3. Sean Porter in The Gridiron Gang. At a juvenile detention center, a counselor played by The Rock tries to turn the young prisoners in his care into a football team to give them a sense of self-respect and social responsibility. But he faces resistance from high school coaches who don't want their players facing offenders on the field. What begins as a series of fun revelations and a deft example of genre defiance is almost crippled in its second half by cliches. But until the final whistle, the unexpected dramatic magnetism of The Rock will hold you. Number 2. Ray Gaines in San Andreas. When it comes to his roles, Dwayne Johnson is like a chameleon tackling a variety of parts throughout his career. He could be a sports agent, he could be a bounty hunter, heck, he could even be a tooth fairy. In this catastrophe epic, during a seismic earthquake that shakes California, he plays a first responder. He also plays a divorcee who spends half the film attempting to save his ex-wife and estranged daughter, leaving behind countless people to die. Some might call the character of Dwayne Johnson selfish, but I just think he's playing a little cog in an even bigger wheel than the one in the picture of the disaster. Either way, because he has charm for days, Dwayne Johnson is not overshadowed by the tragedy itself. In the middle of an earthquake, delivering one-liners is no small feat. Neither is parachuting into a tragedy, but somehow Johnson manages to pull both off and make everything plausible. Hell, he makes it look fun too. There's another movie where I wonder if it could be just as good if there wasn't The Rock in it. But then, in 2012, I recalled John Cusack and I'm counting my lucky stars that Dwayne Johnson wanted to be a movie star. Number 1. Hercules in Hercules. With his take on the mythical demigod, Dwayne Johnson gives the Greek myth the WWE treatment. A much more believable version of Hercules is played by Johnson in that he's more of a con man who for more money sows his own outlandish reputation. But don't let it make you think that he's not a badass. He kills a guy with just one punch even though he's technically cheating. Although Johnson's Hercules suffers from a traumatic history due to the murder of his family, he proves that he's the truth behind the legend, and he has his revenge with some old school swords and sandals badassery. Alright, we've reached the end of this video. Go ahead and choose the movie that interests you the most and watch it. Pro advice, watch them all, they're definitely worth it. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Drop your comments below about your favorite movie from Dwayne Johnson and why. That's a wrap, see you in the next video.